Hello everyone, welcome to Super Coaching UPSC by Textbook. This is Venkatesh, your faculty for geography. As you all know that I'm doing previous year question sessions on all the topics of geography since for the last all the questions which were asked for the last 25 years. I've segregated them topic wise, oceanography, climatology and all. And here I'm discussing about such kind of questions in one video. Last week we have done the part 1 of the oceanography. Let's continue the part 2 now as part of the oceanography sessions. Just a minute. The questions which were asked for the last. Yeah. So if you have any further doubts or any other such topic about this, you can always ask me. Last week I have done the questions on even on the previous year questions of climatology as such. So let's continue now. Yes. So the remaining aspect of oceanography, the topics on ocean currents and all, let us discuss those kind of things now. So let's start. So this is the question. Consider the following statements. Rotation of the earth, air pressure and wind, density of the oceanic water, revolution of the earth. Which of the above factors influence the ocean currents? Which of the factors influence the ocean currents? So let us see some kind of questions. Now you try to answer, all of you. I think it should be a very easy question. If you think, apply the concept based question. It is a concept based question which you can easily answer. Now try to answer this, right? So rotation of the earth, air pressure and wind, density of the oceanic water, revolution of the earth. Which of the above factors influence the ocean currents? Now rotation of the earth, that influence leads to what? Coriolis force. Coriolis force, wind systems, just like ocean currents, just like wind systems, will deflect towards their right in the northern hemisphere and towards the left in the southern hemisphere. So can I say that this factor is influencing the ocean current? Yes, right? So one would be coming up. So you can eliminate second statement. Air pressure and wind, we all know that when winds like say a wind like westerlies is moving in the northern hemisphere in this direction, westerlies, the current will also move in the same direction. So definitely air pressure and wind systems, are they not having the impact on the movement of the ocean currents? They also have an impact. So this statement is also right. Then density of the oceanic water. Density of the oceanic water have a role to play? Yes. Now what happens? Imagine this is the, for example, this is the European side, this is the Mediterranean Sea. Now here this is Mediterranean, this is Atlantic, the open sea. Now what happens here with respect to Atlantic and the open sea? The Mediterranean Sea is surrounded by more land. So the salt content of the Mediterranean Sea would be higher than normal. So salt content here would be higher. So because of that, the oceanic water will, what will happen? It will sink. As it sink, what will happen? Because as the oceanic water will be sinking, there is a difference of the gradient now compared with respect to here salt content is high. So when salt content is high, wherever the water will be sinking, as it sinks, the layer would be different and the water will enter from the open sea into the Mediterranean Sea. So densities of the water will have a say in the movement of the oceanic water. High density, the concept is very simple. When there is high density, water will sink. As the water sinks, what will happen to the sinking water? Because of the sinking water, there is a pressure gradient developed on the surface where the water moves from the less dense areas to the high dense areas. So water will start moving, to compensate the sink, to compensate the, say, sinking water. So in other words, what you can remember, water moves from high density to low density. So water moves from low density areas to high density areas. So in other words, can I say that even density is having a role to play? All of you, will you agree with this, that density is also having a role to play? Yes. Now, how can revolution of the earth has an impact on the movement of the oceanic water? No. So with that, the answer is B, 1, 2, 3. So the right answer is what? B, 1, 2, 3. I hope you got it, all of you. You got an approach now. Consider the following factors: rotation, air pressure and wind, density of the oceanic water, revolution of the earth. Which of the factors held responsible for that? Influence the oceanic currents? This is the thing. Right. Let us move forward to the next question now. The most important fishing grounds of the world are found in the regions where? Found in the regions where? Gayatri, you got it wrong. The most important fishing grounds of the world are found in the regions where warm and cold atmospheric currents meet. Atmospheric current, you have fell into the trap, right? This is the trap based question. You have directly fell into the questions. How much confidently, whatever you know, right? Despite you knowing the concept, understanding it, you fell into the trap. Such things, do it now so that you don't bleed in the war. Do such mistakes now, never in the exam. So, the most important fishing grounds of the world are found in the regions where warm and cold oceanic currents meet. I think you all have seen fishing grounds, warm current, cold current, and you have forgot the word atmospheric here. Such things, never do the mistake. It is the warm and cold oceanic currents. Gayatri, agreed? Agreed? Right? Such mistakes, don't do that. Let's move forward to the next question. Now you see the same example. Remember about the warm current and the cold current, right? Warm current and the cold current. You can see this is the Gulf Stream, this is the Labrador. Meeting point of the Gulf Stream and the Labrador is the place where what will you find? You will find where there is good amount of phytoplankton. Good amount of phytoplanktons. Yes, Janta Chakma, good afternoon. Good afternoon, right? So, this is the thing. So, phytoplankton growth, which you find, see, when there is a cold water and when there is a warm water, usually when there is a mixing, the nutrients, the supply for the, when there is a cold water, there is good amount of nutrients. That nutrient mixing is conducive for phytoplanktons, the base of the oceanic ecosystem. And because of this base, you will find the small fishes, big fishes, and then the whales all are developing, and that leads to an important fishing ground of the world. So keeping that into consideration, the most important fishing grounds of the world are where warm and cold oceanic currents meet. Now with this, identify the important warm and cold oceanic currents of the world. Gulf Stream and Labrador meeting point is an important it is an important center of oceanic current, the Gulf Stream and the Labrador current, and this is where you will find the banks of Newfoundland, Grand Banks. Similarly, another such important what do you say, the oceanic thing you can see is about the fishing ground is in this region, the Kuroshio and the Oyashio current around the regions of Japan. This is another important fishing ground. Number 2. So two prominent ones, 1 and 2, are where two currents meet. So remember the cold currents, Labrador and Oyashio, the warm currents, Gulf Stream and the Kuroshio, respectively of the Atlantic as well as the Pacific. Okay. right? Then you don't find such kind of things in the southern hemisphere because of dominance of water there. You don't find the market enough here. Yes, you do find naturally some fishing available here. The Brazilian current here, meeting point with the current called Falkland current, Falkland. You do find some kind of ocean current, some kind of fishing zones, but not that dominance. Anyhow, you got the approach, you have learned the knowledge here. This is the mixing point. Let's move to the next topic. So now try to answer this question. Try to answer this. Right. Yes, try to answer this. Now, consider the following statements. Yes. Can you answer? Yes. Janta Chakma. Gayatri, can you? Others, you are quietly watching, not not participating in the comment section. It's okay. Right. Now you can see here. Now this is a very interesting question. You see here. Ocean currents are slow surface movement of the water in the ocean. Is it not? What are ocean currents? Movement of the oceanic water consistently which you find. So is it not ocean currents are slow surface movement of the water in the ocean? Yes. But the moment I use the word only, then the statement becomes wrong. In general, oceanic water currents are slow surface movement of the water in the ocean. Yes. But it is not just surface alone. Not surface alone. You also find deep oceanic currents. But that statement in itself is not wrong, no? Will you agree with this statement now? The whole confusion about this question lies in statement 1. For me, statement 1 is right because ocean currents are slow surface movement of the water in the ocean. Yes, slow. They are not like very quick. Ocean currents assist in maintaining the Earth's heat balance. Yes. Ocean currents are set in motion primarily by prevailing winds. Yes. Ocean currents are affected by the configuration of the ocean. Yes, they are affected by the configuration of the ocean. So in that way, what would be the answer? For me, the answer is 1, 2, 3, 4. Some of the statements will say that 2. There is a debate between B and D. For me, the answer is D, right? Because the moment when I use the word only here, then the option will become B for me. Got it? The confusion, the whole confusion lies with the statement 1. Got it? Janta Chakma? I think Gayatri got it right. See, that is a difficult thing. Yes, it is a confusion in the statement 1. There is some challenge with confusion 1. Different people will interpret with different perspectives as well. I agree with that. But in itself is not wrong, no? What are ocean currents? Ocean currents are definitely this. Right. So let's move forward to the next question. See, this is the trickiness involved. Always in the exam, you will find such kind of trickiness where unfortunately such kind of questions can go either way. We might assume one thing, we will be very dominant about whether we are right or wrong at the time of the exam, but after the exam, if you see it, then also you will not be convinced, satisfied by if it is wrong or if it is right. Such things every year 1 to 3 questions, sometimes 1, sometimes 3 questions are always having debate to that extent that you would not be convinced of the answer despite seeing repeated things. Unfortunately, 1 to 3 questions every year, you will always find those challenges. We should make it sure that those 3 questions are not determining our success rate in the exam. That's the competitive trickiness, unfortunate. Right, let's move forward to the next one now. Now you see here, I don't think, should I need to explain the second and the third and the fourth statement? Need not, no. The second, yes, they are part of the balancing the Earth's heat balance. Tropical regions receive more heat, temperate regions which receive less heat, they are balancing out. That is the reason why you have ice-free ports in Europe, ice-free ports in Europe by the North Atlantic drift. Right? Ocean currents are set in motion primarily by prevailing winds. Yes, it is the prevailing wind, the insulation factor, the Coriolis force, which is pushing the water to move in one direction. Right? So that is the thing. Then ocean currents are affected by the configuration of the ocean. Yes, they are also affected by the configuration of the ocean. Yes. So when there is a topographical configuration of the ocean, that will also deflect the oceanic water. Yeah. Confusion with statement 1, I agree. Some people will say the answer is B as well. Some people will say the answer is D. Right. Next question. Next question. What explains the eastward flow of the equatorial countercurrent? Eastward flow of the equatorial countercurrent. What explains the eastward flow of the equatorial countercurrent? Right. Try to see this. This is also another tricky question. I don't see this is also a very easy question. I would say this is also a very, very difficult question. Right. The Earth's rotation on its axis, convergence of two equatorial currents, difference in salinity of the water and all. Right. So the right answer is convergence of two equatorial currents. Let me explain the counter equatorial current. Now if you see, this is the equator. Okay. This is Africa. South America. You will see that there is a current which is moving from, say, Africa to North America in this direction and deflected towards the north. This is what we call it as north equatorial current. And there is another current which moves from similarly in the southern part, and as this current moves, because the trade winds is pushing them towards the western side and the Coriolis force is reflecting towards the left in the southern hemisphere, they start moving like this and they move like this. Now what happens here is, at this junction, can I say there is a piling up of two warm water from the African coast? From the African coast, you can see the warm water is piling up, two equatorial currents are piling up of water here. So if you see from here, from the African side, there is more water which is piled up in Africa, in the American side. Because the water gets piled up layer by layer and all, there is one kind of a small kind of a gradient which is developed. So as the gradient develops, and here you know that equatorial region is a zone of calmness, of doldrums. Because there is no other thing which is obstructing it, the water which is piling up on the coast of Africa, coast of America, is moving along the coast, along the equatorial line, here. So this water is moving up here in this way, which we call it as counter equatorial current. So this is what we call it as counter equatorial current. The counter equatorial current flows from the east, from the west towards the east. It is moving from America to thing. That's why it is the eastward flow. What explains the flow is convergence, and this convergence is not obstructed by the belt of calmness. This is the zone of doldrums. So, in other words, B and D are also responsible, but the primary one among this is the challenge for us to understand at the time of the exam, which happens to be B, right? Convergence of the cold current, two equatorial currents. I hope you got it, all of you. Gayatri, you got it? Zanta Chakma, you got it? I hope it is clear. Right. Now, this is the thing. See, the problem for this question is B and option D. Some people will confuse this. Some people will have a confusion with the D. Mix up that. You can see that. So, let's move forward to the next question now. In the given map, which one of the following pairs of ocean currents are shown? So, there is a given map, Africa. Now, this is the Africa. Now, what are these currents? You know that this is the Guinea coast. This is the coast of Benguela. This is region of Benguela cold current, which is responsible for the desert, Namibian and Kalahari desert. So, Benguela cold current and Guinea coast is the reason, right? With that, you can say that Benguela should be D. Now, you know Falkland. This is at the coast of South America. Humboldt, this is the coast of Peru, Peru current. Agulhas, this is the East Africa, this side. Agulhas current is this side, this is Agulhas, right? Guinea is this. So, with that, the Benguela and the things which passes near, yes, you can say Benguela current passes near Cape Town, yes, that is right. You can see here the names I have clearly mentioned. You see, this is the Benguela current, this is the Guinea current, this is the, what do you say? Yes, this is the Falkland current of South America. This is the current of, similarly, this is the Agulhas current on the eastern side of the Africa, Agulhas. These are the names which are given. Canary cold current, we all know Canary cold current as part of the African continent here. African continent, Canary cold current, right? Now, this is a map based question, very easy to treat. Now, the next question, I hope this is also very easy for you to answer it. Let me see. Okay, let me see. So, which one of the following factors is responsible for the change in the regular direction of the ocean currents in the Indian Ocean? Now, why there is a regular change in the direction of the ocean currents in the Indian Ocean? We all know it is because of monsoons. Monsoons. Indian currents are known for monsoons. Indian region is known for monsoons. Because of that, you can see that when the northeast monsoonal wind blows like this, you will see the current which moves from, say, Mumbai to Somalia. Let me change the color here. So, when the northeast monsoon is moving, the current moves from Mumbai to Somalia like this. Similarly, from Dhaka to Sri Lanka in the Bay of Bengal. When there is the other side, southwest monsoon, you will see the current flows from, say, once again in the Bay of Bengal and Somalia to India like this. Now, because of this, the Indian currents, the oceanic currents of the North Indian Ocean, especially in the Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal, which are the controlling factor is the winds. Because winds stay at 180°, the currents are also shifting. So, the ocean currents influence in the Indian Ocean is relatively lesser. You don't find gyre here. No gyres. For example, you can see these are the gyres. You find the current moving consistently in this direction. There is a circular movement. Because of this, here you will find gyres. But that is perhaps not the case in other parts of the world. Right? Yes. Right. With this, let's move to the next question now. Right? Yeah, the questions are over. These are the questions which were asked. There are last year, the last week questions and this year questions were all the questions asked in oceanography since the last 20-25 years, where I have compiled all at one place so that it is useful for your practice. Remember these videos which I am doing, be it this on oceanography or these lectures consistently which I am doing it since last 1 month. These are the important quick revisions which you can do for your knowledge for the upcoming year. Hope you all have understood these things, right? And that's it for today. Any doubt you have, you can always ask me. Get into the Telegram channel, ask the doubts, clear your doubts. I'm always ready to help you. This is the thing. So happy weekends for all of you. Enjoy the learnings. Happy learnings. Jai Hind. See you on Monday. Thank you very much. Thank you.